Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing a Jeep Grand Cherokee. There are some pretty solid discounts on these Grand Cherokees, making them really good value in today's market. Before we get in this video, I'm going to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Jeep here in Provo for giving me some time with this Grand Cherokee. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Powering this is the tried and true Pentastar V6. It's a 3.6 liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 26 on the highway, with power outputs being about 290 horsepower and about 260 pound-feet of torque. Now before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Well, let's start with the front end of this bad boy. Really cool design with the lights, I think. And you can see here with the hood as well, very boxy. You got the Jeep logo, and everything's pretty much blacked out with this. Obviously you got the silver paint, but it creates a cool contrast, and I think it gives this car a handsome design. Now around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 265 by 60 by 18 in the front, and over in the rear. You can see with the wheels darker with the coloration, quite a bit of sidewall on those tires. And I like the fender flares here and the rest of the bodywork. That looks pretty sweet if you ask me. Got the blacked out mirror caps, and then if I take a few steps back, here's your side profile. And this leads us to the key fob. We have our lock and unlock function, remote start. We got the opening for the hatch, the Jeep logo on the back, and pop it open. And popping into the rear, we've got quite a bit of cargo space here in the back with the Grand Cherokee, which is really cool. We also have spare tire underneath as well. Got a 12 volt here in the back. But it's just a practical SUV. When you're all done, just press that and that will lower the hatch right back down. Really cool taillight design with this, if you ask me. I think it's pretty fun. And then once again with the trim darker, including the Jeep badge and all of that. So yeah, I mean, look at this. I think it's a good looking SUV, but let me know your thoughts. Now taking a look at the door panel in the back, soft touch here and down below. See with the window control here, pretty cool looking handle. And I like the seats with this package. So you can see soft touch throughout. And then you got these cool little inserts in the center too that make it feel a little bit sportier. Room in the Grand Cherokee, not too shabby. That one's a little bit more accurate in terms of the spacing with the legroom and everything. Got some vents here in the back, USBs as well. And then with that boxier design, we've got pretty good headroom. Now taking a look at the front door panel again, you got that soft touch here and down below. All of our window controls, front to automatic, mirror adjustments, blind spot ring with the mirrors. And here's the front seat, again, that trim down the center. All of our adjustments on the side. And we've got our light controls here, so the parking brake and everything. And then nice trim here, and then also on the dash too with soft touch. So taking a look at the steering wheel, you can see soft touch all around, like this trim piece here at the bottom. I think that's pretty cool looking. Got practical controls like our adaptive cruise control, paddle shifters here on the back. We also have radio controls on the back as well. And then just traditional stocks with this. And the Grand Cherokee's gone digital with the gauge cluster. So you can change kind of what it looks like and then also see different bits of vehicle information. Backup camera in reverse. And then as for the rest of the infotainment system, we do have heated seats and heated steering wheel, dual zone climate. Quick response time. I like the smaller screens respond quicker than the bigger ones. At the top we do have auto stop start, lane departure, and then you can see here for the stability control, parking sensors, and then that is interesting for the sport mode. At the very top. And then at the bottom, analog controls for the heated seats, and then also for the radio and climate and all of that. Kind of like a little charging area right here. Dial shifter, which is very reflective. Hurts the eyes. We've got some cup holders there. And this is pretty cool, the center console and storage. I like this trim on the top, I think that's nice. And then same thing across the dash. And pretty good storage in the glove box. Got a camera, or not a camera, just a regular rear view mirror, no camera rear view mirror with this one. And then we've got a sunroof up top as well. So taking a look at the window sticker here, Altitude X, total MSRP is $48,525, but there are some solid discounts on these now, and so you can get these in the lower 40s, which some of you might say, it's too much money for that, but I mean, you look at other vehicles in the market and, you know, the size of this and all the features and everything, and it's pretty solid value. Let's drive it. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility of the hood. Put the mirrors, do a blind spot monitoring. Put the rest of the rear. And let us set off in the Grand Cherokee. So with this package, I mean, it's going to depend on exactly where you're at, because the rebate programs are different for different regions in the U.S. But I mean, I've been seeing these in like the lower 40s with this package. And I look at the competition, it's like you don't really have a lot of SUVs in this size with this amount of features in that price range. You've got, I mean, you could get like I guess the new Traverse. That's a bigger vehicle than this. You get like a more baseline one around that. But yeah, I mean, I think in the segment it's pretty reasonable, but you can let me know if you disagree with me. I know some people say the whole segment's just overpriced, and hey, fair enough. In terms of how the Grand Cherokee drives, this new Grand Cherokee is really nice. It's like a luxury car. Even without the air suspension and all that, it drives really well. It's got comfortable suspension. The transmission's very smooth with this. And this V6 has got decent power. I would never call it fast, but like, you get on it and it moves. Doesn't struggle. The suspension overall is comfortable. Excuse me. I like this interior, like the materials and everything. Again, that's the other thing that is kind of impressive with this in this segment, is the interior materials and all of that are really solid. Man, I am not lucking out with this traffic here. But it's just a nice place to be. Like, Jeep has luxed things up, is a good way to put it. Okay, I should be able to go here now. Pretty good torque, pretty solid. So to sum things up, Grand Cherokee, right? We all know that, you know, Dodge, Ram, Jeep, Chrysler, right, sales have been a little bit slower this year. You know, a lot of it's the economy, and you know, some of it was, you know, they made the MSRP prices too high, right? They lowered the MSRPs on some vehicles, like these Grand Cherokees, actually, like actual MSRP lowering. So, you know, what's happening, I guess? Why are things a little, maybe you could say a little bit slower? And my take on it is a couple things. I think Jeep right now has a perception problem, right? I don't think people, like, it's widespread knowledge that prices have come down. So I think that a lot of people just don't know on that side of things. And then I also think that this segment has so much competition now. So when I sold Jeeps back in the day, you had the Grand Cherokee, and if you wanted, you know, a vehicle like this, then that was pretty much it. I mean, you had some 3-row SUVs that, but a lot of people that got the Grand Cherokee, they didn't want a 3rd row, they just wanted a bigger SUV, right? But now it's like there's so much competition in this segment, and there's vehicles that I feel like people are buying that might have been Grand Cherokee buyers in the past, but now they're not, because there's other vehicles that might not be as luxurious or as comfortable as the Grand Cherokee, like a Ford Bronco. The new Ford Bronco is a good example. You might see it as a Wrangler competitor, but I also see that as a Grand Cherokee competitor in the sense of it's a 5-seater SUV that kind of is a little bit cooler. That's what the Grand Cherokee was, is 5-seater SUV, a little bit cooler, practical, all of that. So there's so much more competition in this segment. I wouldn't say it's oversaturated, but it's saturated. So it makes it a lot harder to stand out in the segment today versus, you know, back when I was selling these, you know, like it's been over 7 years now. It's been quite some time. So yeah, things have just changed quite a bit. So I think competition, and people just don't know the new pricing. So let me know what your thoughts are, but that's all.